Thank you. Such a warm welcome, gosh. I'm getting emotional right now. That's like really, really sweet. Thank you to the team, to the management. You want me to go up there? Okay, so, oh, that's a nice photo. That's a really nice photo. So first of all, thank you for having me here. We don't have much of an age difference between me and you guys. So I don't know how much I can inspire you. I don't know how much I can contribute, but I can definitely share experiences and a little bit of the journey that I've had till where I am today. Hello. So, a little bit about myself. It's Shashaa Tirupati. A lot of people say Tirupati, a lot of people say Tripti. It's Tirupati, like the temple. So I'm Canadian. I was raised in Canada. I was born in Kashmir, but I never lived there. I was about 8 months old when I went to Canada. My musical journey started with singing on the radio when I was around 6. So my parents would call on a radio channel there, and there was basically this program where they would want us to sing a song in our voice, and then they would play the actual song. So I would sing when I was 6 years old, and then they would play the song. So slowly in Vancouver, where I lived, people would start waiting to hear me. So growing up, that was a major inspiration because people would wait and they would express how much they liked my singing as a kid. So it started like that. Slowly, they started calling me for shows. I started performing at the age of 8, and after that, I came to India. My parents brought me to India to train. Training was mandatory. It was very important. We can all have talent, but at the end of the day, you need someone to give you direction. Are you guys, which language are you guys all comfortable with? Tamil, or do you speak Hindi as well? Or is English okay? Okay, I didn't get anything you guys said, so I'll just stick with English. So, my parents brought me to India, and that gave me a lot of direction in terms of training, because everyone said I could sing in tune, everyone said I had a nice voice. But what after that? We can all have talent, but you need someone to give it direction. Just like there would be a lot of intelligent students here, but you need your teachers to give you direction, to apply that intelligence in the right direction. So for me, that happened after I came to India. I trained, I competed, I won around 102 awards at various levels, national, regional. And I went back to Canada to finish my education. And the funny thing is that today I probably wouldn't be standing here, but I'd probably be in a hospital, working on someone's brain or on someone's spinal cord, because I was studying to become a neurosurgeon. I dropped out after I heard Guru. So because of that magician, and the magician's name was A.R. Rahman. Thank you. Because of Rahman sir, I heard Guru. I loved the song called Jaage Hain Der Tak. Jaage hai der tak hame kuch der sone do, thodi si raat aur hai, subah to hone do, aadhe adhure ख्वाब जो heard this. Thank you. Thank you. I heard this, and it was at that point that I decided that it's not medicine, man. Gotta go home as in India, and I wanna sing this kind of music. This is what I wanna do in life, and I burned my book. Don't do that. Teachers are sitting here. Teachers, please tell your students not to burn their books. I did it. And I mean, in my parents' eyes, I didn't make the right decision, but today, they're pretty happy. But I wouldn't advise the same to you. Please finish your education, which I later went on to do. But at that point, I burned my book so I wouldn't be tempted to go back and finish medicine. So at that point, I burned my book. I told my parents that I want to be self-made. Whatever I want to do it on my own regard. I had younger siblings, so I wanted my parents to take care of them and give them attention. So I packed my bags and I almost ran away from home because I wanted to sing professionally. My father was okay with it after a little while, and then I came to India and I participated in a few reality shows. I did a lot of jingles, as these guys mentioned, the brands that I've sung for. And then there came this point where someone told me that I don't have it in me. He's a very popular musician. I'm not going to take names, but he said that I lacked talent. And that kind of broke me. And I guess, as they say, that in adversity lies opportunity. I stopped singing for 3 years. And in that duration of 3 years, I realized that I had a composer in me. Because at the end of the day, whatever I was doing, it was music related. So when I went into composition, I started producing my own music as well. And I had people like, singers like Javed Ali and Palak Muchal and Mohit Chauhan and Muhammad Irfan. I had all these singers come and sing for me and sing my compositions. So I did realize that there was another side to me. And suddenly, after 3 years of not having sung, I got a call from Coke Studio saying that Rahman sir is auditioning. And then I was like, wow, I haven't sung for 3 years, now what do I do? So at that point I was like, I should have continued singing. So I think a week till the auditions, I resumed my riyaz, I started practicing again, and I made it through. And this was 2013, and that's the same year when I recorded for Kochadyan, which was Rajnikant sir and Deepika Padukone. So that's when I sang my first song for Rahman sir. And after that, there was no turning back kind of a thing. I sang in Kavya Talaivan, I sang in OK Kanmani, in which I had 3 songs. I sang in Acham Enbad Madmeda. Then Silikamarame was a big hit. Everything kind of just followed and fell into place. But the thing is that throughout this entire journey, what has helped me? We do see competition every day. I mean, at the end of the day, competition is inevitable, or competition in quotation marks. Because maybe if your classmates, the person you're sitting next to would be someone who you're competing against, or who you want better marks from, or just even in general, survival of the fittest. But for me, competition has always been a very personal thing. The me today versus the me yesterday. That has been what I've been applying to my life, and I've been applying to my career. Because every time I enter a studio to sing, I make it a point that how I sang yesterday is very different from how I sing today. And I make it a point that the mistakes I made yesterday are not repeated today. So basically, I'm competing with myself. I'm being a newer me every single day. So that's the competition. But then what about the people around you? What about your peers? What about other singers for me? Or what about other students for you? They are there because they have their own set of values, they have their own set of talents, and they are there to give you inspiration. So for me, if I listen to another singer, I will always think that, मैं इससे क्या सीख सकती हूँ? What can I learn from her? I will always think that, okay, this is what I can sing, or this is what I try to sing, but I would love to have a little bit of maybe a chinmay, or I would love to have a little bit of a chitrama in my singing. And I would try and sit down and learn from that rather than thinking that she's a competition or another singer is competition for me. For me, competition is outperforming myself. I am my own competition, like I mentioned. And everyone else should be used as a learning experience. And that is pretty much how things have worked for me till now. And that's pretty much the words of wisdom that I can give you right now. And also, I really strongly believe in the power of the mind. I feel that we've not fully realized the potential of our brains. We know that Einstein used around, how much, 8% of his brain. The remaining 92%, are we aware of what it's capable of? We don't know. And perhaps there are things that we are capable of doing, but because of this unawareness, we don't use hidden potentials that we may have. So for me, something that has worked is strongly believing that something will happen if I want it to happen. So if I wanted to sing for Rahman sir, I kept his photo in my temple for 12 years and I would show it at Diya every day. Just something I did because I was dedicated to him. And it happened. Like, 6, 7 years later, 10 years later, Rahman sir happened for me. And it's about how badly you want something. I was madly in love with Rahman sir's music. And I didn't want anything as much as I wanted to sing for him. I left home, I came to India, I started singing randomly, and somehow, connecting the dots 6 years later, he happened. In the process, I never lost my love for him. I didn't lose track of what I wanted. I stopped singing, but still I was associated with composition. When I was composing, who was I thinking of? I was thinking of Rahman sir throughout. So I think it's about how badly you want something, which translates into actions. If you want something really bad, you'll obviously work for it. And if you work for something hard enough, there's no way you won't achieve it.